What's up?
Jesus.
Don't do that. Come on.
Remember that?
Yeah,
do you remember that?
The worst part of that is, I can't actually remember how many years in the past that was.
It was a long time.
It was about 20, isn't it?
It's only last year, wasn't it? Oh, 20. It's last year. And then they did the one with the frogs.
Last year?
Yeah, remember them? Yeah, it was recent. Yeah. Very recent.
Okay. We're young men. We're young men. It's fine.
And welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner, and I'm here with Sean Bell.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And James Farley.
Well, hello, but why are you saying it like that?
What? Why do you care? Why do you care?
Because I do, because you like say it all upbeat about the others, then you say it like I'm a horrible afterthought. You know, it's not very nice.
I mean, thinking back to when I was putting this show together, it's quite. We would like to start the show by thanking our Patreon producers for this month. They are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Gabby Pereira, Graham McKay, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Man, and we've got a new one. We've got a new full nails. There's only a new full nails. Everyone put your hands together for Rocket Man 76. There's 76 of them. He was the 76th one. Actually might
there's
be
at
more
least
than
76 of them.
Yeah, there's at the very least 76 of them. Rocket Man 1. Oh, shit, it's taken. Rocket Man 2. Oh, fucking hell. You can help support the show by going to patreon.com/TCGS. Pick a tier, any tier. Just make sure you scroll down, baby. We've got bonus shows, live talksovers, and of course the Full Nels crew. If you want to join that crew, you can do so there. Matt, feedback from last week's show, they all loved it, did they? They fucking loved it.
They did, but before that, I'm going to have to do some feedback that I forgot to do last week, that actually I forgot to do the previous season, and that is the all-important TCGS Fantasy Football results. I failed to do this last season. I'm not quite sure why, but anyway. But I'm remembering this season.
The way you bang on about fantasy football, I assume you won it, right? Did you win it?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you can talk about something a lot and not be good at it. I mean, this podcast is a great example of that. It's not about me. Let's talk. The winner of this season.
That's not what you say at the start of the season, is it?
Absolutely
you know
not.
That you're sitting there thinking this is my jam. This is all
my
about
year.
Me.
You're like Liverpool. It's like
yeah, you just got to wait 30 years, mate. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Well, yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah, I don't mind waiting 30 years if it means eventually winning this. But anyway, this season's championship was won by Chris Bush with Bush FC. Well done to you, Chris Bush. I mean, there's no prizes, unfortunately, but well done to you, Chris Bush. Slightly behind was Shane James in second, just under 40 points behind, and then Steve Sayer in third. Congratulations, you guys. I finished 16th, but
maybe that's what you need to do, Matt. Maybe you need to put your own personal money into like a really big prize for the winner, because that will give you the motivation to go on and win it.
I'm motivated. I'm just, it's been a tough season for everyone this year. It's been a lot of double game weeks and blanks. We've got Pep Roulette to deal with.
No crowd.
Yeah, no crowd. It's just been a tough season for everyone. Very intense. So but after Euros, back to it, ready for next season.
Well, big up the Bush FC.
Yeah,
that's what I said. I've always said it.
Should have done it last week.
Always said
I forgot.
it. Cool. Let's get to the other feedback.
Yeah, Graham McKay. When I was last in the Full Nelsh crew, I could accept you mispronouncing my name, but now there's some turtle bellend after me, I'm forced to act. McKay is pronounced like tie, lie, guy, buy, etc. Get it right.
Yeah. McKay.
Spread it.
McKay. Like George.
Tell Adam McKay he doesn't know how to pronounce his own name. So yeah, it's Graham McKay. Not McKay.
Right, okay, well, I'm going to change that. Did I say it right? I said it wrong this week, didn't I?
Well, I'm sure we've all read that as...
if I just write Mac I in the...
So you're going to misspell it. You're going to say it correctly, but you're going to misspell it.
Just
obviously. Yeah, but they don't see the spelling. They don't see the spelling in our...
They do, because we've brought it to their attention.
Okay.
That's gonna burn in his mind every time he hears you read it out now.
Yeah, but it looks like the K, right?
No, just
sorry,
Grant. It says Mook, and then it's like Cobra Kai. There you go.
But you're definitely going to go like Mac I. and then it'll sound bad.
Can I just say, Matt, you know that I read out the names, right? So why are you saying don't write it like that so that you know what to say? I'll write it in a different way so you know how to...
Mac I.
Yeah, that's fine with me. That's fine with me.
David,
it sounds all right by the end of it, doesn't
Matt
it?
just wants you to be your best self. That's all it is. You know, he's trying to help you.
I'm sorry, Graham Mackay. You deserve better. And you absolutely should have pulled us up on it in the first week because I feel bad now. No refunds. So let's get on to the next bit of feedback.
Actually, Graham Mackay continues. As a fellow lecturer, ask James if he gives students he dislikes a worse mark. Not saying I do. James, that's
of course, I've never done that. No, never.
Yeah, bullshit. James, do you mark papers then?
I used to, yeah. I haven't done it for a long time because I'm doing research at the moment. But yeah.
Okay, so you can be truthful then.
Well, yeah.
Statute of limitations has run out on anything he's marked.
I've always been incredibly balanced and very fair to every paper that I get.
I mean, James, your easy get out here is that surely you didn't like any of your students. So it's fine.
No, they were all amazing. They were all amazing. It's great.
Okay. Oh God, I want to. Maybe this is a bonus show thing where I ask you what are the dumbest questions that some of the students.
I'll tell you what, you get some really interesting stuff on some of those. I mean, I could.
Well, you better sign up for Patreon. This is terrible, isn't it? We always said we'd never do this, but there you go. That's where we are now. Wanted cash, money. Next bit of feedback.
Darren Gargett. In regards to dual-wielding scooters, I saw my neighbour rest one scooter on another and then use his one to ride on. Sort of like when he stacked chairs in a council hall after a disco. It was almost on top of it, bit slightly to the side.
That sounds really annoying and difficult.
I mean, that's incredible skill.
How dismissive is that, Sean?
I'm just saying.
It sounds pretty cool to me, actually, Darren. God, they're not... Sounds really annoying and difficult. Fuck you.
Just hold it in my hand. No, I mean, okay. I mean, Darren. To be fair, Darren's not saying look, guys. Here's some inside intel here. This is how you do it. He's just saying he's observed someone doing it. So, Darren, I'm not having to go at you. I'm having to go at your fucking idiot neighbour with his weird stacking
idiot, incredibly talented, skilled neighbour.
Maybe he's trying to break a record or something. You never know.
Could be.
I wish I knew the scooter equivalent of Tony Hawk, because I would have then said that the neighbour was the scooter equivalent of Tony Hawk, but that person probably doesn't exist, does it? Does it?
Yeah, it must do.
Really?
Pretty sure it's a sport. Obviously, nowhere near as big as proper skateboarding, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll probably just really upset 3 listeners
this year, but maybe next time.
God.
Arse Sweater. Genuinely good show last week, lads. Dave championing a new original game from EA. Sean alerting me to good sounding titles I've never heard of. James's thorough analysis of NES Detective saving me a regrettable purchase. And Matt pushing through Resi like a big boy. Put a sock on it, knob sock. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, some of that knob sock. Shove that right up your comments and that. Not heard from Knobsock this week.
No, curiously silent.
Well, I mean, there was someone called Knobsock who subscribed on Patreon.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the same person. I reckon. I don't.
We saw a lot of people coming out in defence of us. That was very nice. Thanks. No need. We know how good we are. Next
fact. Progress lost. Speaking of weirdos watching on buses, I was playing a Magic the Gathering mobile game on a bus years ago when I suddenly became aware that someone was watching over my shoulder as their face entered my peripheral vision. He noticed I noticed him and tried to engage me in chat and then proceeded to get off the bus at the same stop as me. We had a brief awkward discussion about card games, his favourite being Pontoons, no joke, before parting ways, but before he left he asked for the name of the game I've been playing, asked for the name of the game I've been playing and wrote it down on a pad, except he wrote Magical Gallery. I didn't bother correcting him because I wanted to get the hell away.
No way. So, going through that story, I thought it was just he just enjoyed playing all card games, including Magic the Gathering, and just sort of happened to see him. No, I didn't realise he'd never even heard of Magic the Gathering, and was like, oh my god, because if you're just used to traditional card games and you didn't even realise Magic was a thing, it's probably incredible, right?
I love Rummy.
Magical Gallery. What a name for a game, though. That is beautiful.
That's the name of the episode, at least, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's
For
up
now.
there. I think it's in contention. Yeah, James hasn't spoken much yet, though, so that could soon change. The closest thing that I've got that's similar to that was once when I got on the bus and someone, I can't remember the name he said, but we're going to go with Barry, looked me dead in the eyes and went, Barry. I was like, looking around like as if someone else was behind me, and I went, Barry, you remember me? I was like, oh mate, you got the wrong guy. I'm not Barry. He went, yeah. He clearly thought that I was Barry, but pretending not to be because I didn't want to talk to him.
That is
And he
classic
got on the
Barry.
same spot as me, and he was going, You went to this school, didn't you? I was like, no, I've not been there. And it wasn't like one of those instant, sorry, mate, I thought you were someone else. It was like furious that I wasn't admitting.
I was going to say, imagine being in that situation, and instead of just being really embarrassed and walking away, being like, no, I just need to explain to him who he is, and you'll get it. You will eventually get it.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think Barry's on the bus somewhere, and someone's going up to him and going, "Love your podcast, mate. Love it."
I mean, this used to happen to me fairly regularly in Shanghai when I lived on. Yeah, because you'd be sitting on the subway, and I often would sit there. I remember once I was playing that Ninja Gaiden game on DS, and the guy sitting next to me was getting well into it. Like he was leaning right over me and like watching me and like sort of being like, "Wow." And like he was like excited, from it, which was pretty good. But my favourite ever thing that I think ever happened when I was living over there was when I saw these two kids like that were there, and they were sitting there and they were playing PSP, and one of them was just sitting there just going, "Wah, wah, wah," and then he just went, "What the hell?" Which means like my cock or whatever like that, and then he just like looked up to me and saw me like looking at him and just looked really embarrassed, and it was brilliant. But I just loved the fact he was so into this game that he was just sitting there just like saying all this stuff. It was brilliant. Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah. Ollie Crassout. Now how? This is a thing, isn't it?
It's a thing. I said to Dave, I've spotted the first time I actually spotted one of these. Before when
Ollie
I was putting it in the doc.
Chirasau.
Ollie Chirasau.
Ollie Chirasau. Okay, we got
Thanks,
you, Ollie.
Thanks.
Very kind of you.
Thanks, let's not do that on the show.
Because originally I was like, is it French? It's like Ollie Chirasau or something.
Ollie Chirasau.
No, we call you Ollie. We call you if that is your real name.
Definitely is.
Which I doubt. Yeah, so this week's episode title is Ollie, your arse out. That's the episode title. All right, just wanted to add a counterpoint to the Skyward Sword equals NAF conversation. I admit that looking at it... What?
I literally just had a drink as you shouted that out then and then spat it all over my computer. Sorry, go on.
All right, just wanted to add a counterpoint to the Skyward Sword equals NAF conversation. I admit that looking at it through a post Breath of the Wild lens won't do it any favours, and I've not played it since release, but it is an excellent adventure, and the Wii Motion Plus combat actually worked and felt great. Dungeon design is superb, and the individual areas outside of them contain some excellent level design. I'd highly recommend giving it a go, and I'd go as far as to say it's pound for pound a better game than Wind Waker. I honestly wouldn't write it off. Love you, bye.
Okay,
All
Ollie,
right.
but you have called yourself Ollie Chirasau, which completely undermines everything you wrote underneath it. Matt, you've got to give us your opinion, mate. You need to go in this. I mean, I can't remember how much I played of this one. It couldn't have been much. So maybe I'm wrong. It was just, I guess it was one of those games that you start and you go, this again. Because I've always had that feeling with Zelda games. So maybe I've been harsh on it all these years. And I should go back to it. But we'll see.
I'm looking forward to it.
Even when they announced this new version, the general sentiment on Twitter and stuff wasn't exactly...
Yeah, because it was directly after. It was directly after the guy going, "Oh, I know you want to hear about Breath of the Wild 2, but there's none of that."
Oh yeah, there was that.
That's when they announced it. It's ridiculous.
Perfect time to announce something new.
It's something else. Yeah.
You've really got the crowd exactly where they want them. Feeling low as hell. What the fuck's this? You just killed me.
You've got them on the line now. Reel them in.
Yeah, they're warmed up. Here we go. What is this shit? The Tale of Gloucester is next. Re-waggle controls. Matt, you're simply the best. email ends. No, you're simply the best, but I cannot fathom why you use waggle controls as an excuse for giving up on Twilight Princess. I heard this complaint from all my mates all throughout the Wii's lifespan, and I really don't see the issue. Motion-controlled games on that system didn't ask you to enter a shamanic trance and flop around the front room just to make Link perform a sword swipe. Gentle movements, that's the key to getting the most out of this immense control system. If you can waggle your tackle after a piss, you can play Skyward Sword. Love the show. I don't agree with
that. I thought that was going to go on and say you can turn them off. And I thought, oh yeah, no, that would have been stupid if you were doing the waggle controls, but you could actually turn them off. But I'm sorry, I don't go with that at all. I hate motion controls in any game now. Like, I really do. I mean, I loved a bit of Wii Sports. We all loved a bit of Wii Sports, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Doing a bowling and that.
Most of the games I played on Wii, it's just that I didn't really gel. I wasn't saying the whole is it waggle? Loads of people saying that about loads of games and dismissing them straight away. I absolutely wasn't doing that. I loved most of the games. Just that didn't quite work for me, and it wasn't for me.
I wave my arms about playing a game. I don't want to do that.
That's why the Twilight Princess HD remake was better, because you could play it just with normal controls, I think, from what I remember. It was good.
I don't think the Taylor of Gloucester would agree
I love that. I love how he says that.
Because
that's
I played
why it was better, because you could do that with normal controls.
I think. Yeah, I'm just qualifying that, because I played it on Wii U, and I'm sure I played it on the gamepad, but I'm sure some wag is going to write in and say, oh no, you still had to use motion controls, but I don't think you did.
Yeah, that's weird. Why, but James, you can't. When you say I just needed to qualify that because I wasn't sure, that's fine. But you also offered it up as the single reason why it was a better game. So that's kind of crucial, mate, to your original point.
This is just going to be James's new thing, so we can't pull him up on anything anymore. It's just going to end every sentence with "I think" or "I believe," or just start with sources claim.
I was correct though. There weren't motion controls in the HD version. I just had a look earlier on. I didn't have a chance to look, so I was just qualifying it.
Okay, good. Right, okay, let's get on to the next bit of feedback.
Rinsade. That's Rinsade. During last week's show, a listener asked for your reaction if you saw someone listening to TCGS or wearing some merch, etc. This made me realise up until recently I had no idea what you looked like. I watched a Krypton Factor Talks over recently, and that was my first visual introduction to you all. Matt looked exactly like I imagined, aided by the various description of him as a barista or hipster on many of the shows. Okay. James looks like someone who's constantly tired and annoyed, so again, not a surprise. David was a bit of a shock, looking like someone I shouldn't ordinarily talk to. One of those people you subconsciously find yourself crossing the road to avoid.
Harsh.
What? Why?
Harsh.
What? In what way? What does that mean? I don't look angry, do I? I don't look like a stab, do I?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Stab. You could, if someone doesn't know you
got the potential to stab. Yeah.
You could stab.
Oh man, I thought it was like a friendly face. I'm a stabber face.
Yes, a stab face. Yeah.
Actually, Dave, I never told you this, but when Chen first saw a picture of you, she said you looked angry. Like when I first met her. Yeah.
She said he could stab.
I'm always smiling in pictures. I've got that weird triangle smile.
No, maybe it's like the guy from Disco Elysium. Everyone can just see that it's just false. It's like it's just forced. Like
I thought I was getting away with it. Shit. I promise I've never done that.
You never done a stab?
Would be alright. No,
never stabbed anyone.
I did. Yeah, well,
there was the
compass incident. I forgot about that.
That's probably why. And finally, however, Sean was the biggest surprise. In my mind, I saw him looking like the comedian Paul Tompkinson, but it actually looks a bit like Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran? Fucking hell. I don't know which is worse.
It does a little bit. A little bit of Ed Sheeran in him. But then Sean looks like so many people. It's so funny.
I don't have a question other than perhaps questioning myself as to why I've decided to send this in. Thank you for making this pod so entertaining and amusing. It's been a real highlight of 2021 for me. Cheers, Rinsade, the stuff you put in a dishwasher.
I mean, this is how bland my appearance is. You know that meme of the bald guy with the glasses and the beard, sort of looking angry and upset. Every time I see that, I'm like, who? Why did someone base this on me? Why did they do that? That seems unfair.
Have you ever been pulled up in the street for being the meme guy?
I haven't, no.
Ah,
It's the meme
you're
guy.
not there yet. No.
They'll be like, oh, pretend to cry and like grit your teeth.
You get me? Do that next to me. I'll take a selfie.
I'll put
My mates
caption
will
on
love
it
this.
like when I don't know, can't even think of one now. Never mind.
Okay, all right. Let's get on to the news, shall we, James?
Yeah, all right.
Oh no, wait! You've got to tell people what to do with feedback, Matt. Go on.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
if you want
I'm
to leave us
jumping
feedback, you can go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Leave us a message anytime, night or day.
I warn you, I am absolutely shattered tonight, and we've moved the podcast to Tuesday. I moved the podcast to Tuesday because there's no way, and I'm glad I did because last night I was in no fit state to podcast. But here's the thing: next week is the start of our E3 coverage.
Oh my
and,
God.
I've got a little procedure on Monday next week.
Dave's got his own little
usual
E3 coming up.
Yeah.
I wish we could do a talks over.
I will be going under the knife on next Monday, and that will leave me in a lot of pain for the rest of the week. So I was worried about how we were going to start our E3 coverage, but we've moved that recording to Sunday night, and that's when our predictions will be made for what's going to happen over this sort of E3 period.
Dave, is it a knife? I thought it was lasers.
Lasers?
Yeah.
What, like
Lasers
in James
these days,
Bond?
isn't it?
Yeah.
No.
It's like in James Bond,
it's
but
like
you have to let it burn your dick.
Right, okay. The light, it's not. It goes nowhere near the dick, right? It's, the line in the document, which you won't like, James.
Okay, stop.
It's described as a hole punch. So let's move on.
Oh my God, when you get into the surgery and like the surgeon's like, oh, all that stuff spilled over the floor because someone opened the bottom of it.
Yeah, someone opened
Hang
the
on,
bottom
so they
of it.
hole punch it and then laser it.
Right, okay, look, we don't need to go into it.
No,
Okay.
I thought they like cauterized it
It
with.
was a laser.
I thought they cauterized it. It's not like a laser. It's like a soldering iron or something, effectively.
Right, okay, let's just move
like
on.
a
I don't want to
lightsaber.
think about it. Let's just go. Let's go.
James, actually.
Oh, is it me? Is it the news?
Wake him up, so Michael.
Please, sorry, he's throwing up in
I am.
the
It's
order at
just
the moment.
thinking about the hole punch.
Hole punch.
Anyway,
Can you not think about my balls?
Can you not?
Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's
why
go.
haven't you got
2
those
minutes,
bollocks,
come on.
James?
I'll try not to. Anyway,
punch.
some
That sounds
news has happened this week, but it's been all it's annoying because this first story is one that was announced at the end of last week, but then it's all rumours. The whole thing is rumours, and so
All right, we just don't just get into the story. Let's go.
all right, we're expecting a Nintendo Switch Pro reveal before E3. And according to Bloomberg, they're going to show a new version of the Switch, and the reason they're doing this is so that third parties can announce games that will be compatible with it at the event. And apparently it's going to be released.
It was quite funny, this story, when it broke. And I'll tell you my favourite thing about this story when it broke is that there was a lot of video games journalists that seemed to suddenly be in the know that, definitely by the end of the week, guys. Definitely by the end of the week. And the end of the week came and went and there was an announcement. So you can look at those people now and go, oh, it's a direct line to Nintendo, was it? Source from Nintendo leaking this shit to you, was it? You're a nobody and we know it. You saw it on Twitter, like the rest of us. Yeah, not much info other than it's going to be announced before E3, right?
Yeah, and apparently it's going to be released in September or October, and it'll be sold alongside the Switch Lite, and then they're going to phase out the current Switch model over time.
I heard it was going to be a replacement. It will cost the same as what the current one costs.
I heard that as well from inside
Twitter.com.
Contacts. Yeah.
Reddit this time?
Yeah. Shigeru gave me a little call.
Yeah,
we had a quick chit chat, and they also said that the reason they're doing it before E3 is because there's a bunch of developers that want to announce games. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
said
at
E3.
He said just wait till everyone else has put it on Twitter first, then you can.
Yeah.
Then you can do it. Didn't make me sign anything. We don't. It's you just trust me. You know.
Expect that to be announced between this recording and the release of this podcast tomorrow morning.
Mere hours, but they will do it. They'll find a way.
Yeah.
I mean, the only rumors I heard about is that they're going to have USB 3.0 things at the back, so rather than USB 2, and the dock could do 4K.
What do you mean?
Be a high-speed USB.
So coming as USB 2 at the moment at the back.
Which, as we all know, is a nightmare when we're transferring files to USB drives using our Nintendo Switches.
Yeah, I'm totally confused. What? So
the dock will have USB 3.0 ports instead of USB 2.0 ports as it currently has.
Yeah, I mean, I only use them to charge up my vape stick. So, and that's that's not helpful, Nintendo.
Well, it will charge quicker.
That is not helpful.
As also going to have like an Ethernet.
Well, it won't, because I've got a fucking cable. We're gone.
It might charge quicker, but it'll also be incompatible with loads of different things, depending on whichever one they've chosen to use.
Exactly. I mean, I guess it may... No, because the Switch Pro comes with a USB-C to USB. Oh, this is boring, isn't it?
Switch
Who cares?
Pro?
It's not even been announced. It's all nonsense. Right, let's go. Okay, possible new Switch.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, it's going to be a spec bump, isn't it? Probably, and that'll be it. It's not going to be anything exciting, and people are going to be upset. Anyway, next story is that Valve wants to release their own Switch. It turns out. So
I'll stop you there, James.
Go on.
I'll stop you there because this is very important.
Editorialising.
Oh, is that just? I like it.
I read the headlines and write the notes. Now he's doing his own.
Well, this is what you're going to do going forward, mate. You're going to write your own headlines, and then we've got to try and guess the story from your headline.
I'll do that next week. I'll definitely do that.
And I have done that.
And then, obviously, not for the series.
Well, you haven't.
No.
So your headline was Nintendo Switch Pro revealed before E3, and Valve want to release their own Switch. That's your own headline.
I haven't done it for all of them, but for some of them I have.
Well, last week we said you do it for all of
them,
and we've got to guess the news story. That was the point, wasn't it? And that's what
I know,
we were
but I've tried to do
what
that.
A great idea.
I've tried to do that with two of them, right? But it's like some of these are like.
Here's what I think. Sean,
can you just fuck
Sean,
off and just let me do it? Okay?
James, just one sec. Sean, come here.
Yeah.
Do you believe that, or do you think he forgot?
I think he forgot.
Yeah.
I didn't forget.
Matt, do you think he forgot?
Well, no, I quite like James's quite cryptic headline here. Nintendo Switch Pro reveal expected for E3. What does that one mean?
Look, the one after this one is cryptic. Well, it's not. But
the Sonic cycle begins? Well, I wonder what news story that's about. Right, go on. Okay, let's go with the Valve want to release their own Switch. Come on, let's go with that.
Right, so according to Ars Technica, Valve want to get into portable systems, and they're preparing a Switch-like handheld PC that is apparently it's been referred to as Neptune or Steam Pal, which there's interesting names.
Terrible names.
Yeah,
change them. Steam Pal. Oh, I've got to get a Steam Pal, man.
Obviously, code names on the back end, so no one.
Has anyone got a Steam Pal? No. But we didn't buy it because of what it was called, clearly.
I mean, arguably, they're a little bit late to this, right? Because there's quite a few of these devices doing the rounds now already. And they do look very cool. But, I mean, it feels weird to say it, but, I mean, how many of Valve's hardware projects have really taken off?
I was about to say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I cannot believe they haven't brought out a Steam, PC, scaled down PC, but just has Steam big screen on it that you plug into your telly, the same way you do a console.
They sorted it, didn't they? They didn't.
No,
they did Steam
didn't.
machines, and it wasn't just basically other manufacturers could pay to badge
there was 450 options. It was ridiculous. No one bought them because it was so confusing.
Yeah.
You bring out one box, bring out a box a fucking year, change the specs up a little bit every year. It doesn't matter when it's a Steam box, does it? You know what I mean?
The big problem they've got, which is the same problem they got with this, is that this is going to run Linux rather than Windows. So then that's going to have...
put Steam OS on it.
Why do they do that?
Because they don't want to pay a license fee. Yeah, they don't want to pay a license fee, do they, to Microsoft? So immediately that's going to limit whatever games are available on this, which is irritating.
Yeah, but the Steam using Linux happened a few years ago now, so I wouldn't... I don't know. I'd like to think that there's probably something in the back end that enables it to be a lot easier than just...
How many Steam OS users do you know?
Oh, so many.
Again, that didn't really take off for the same reason.
How did Stadia go making this decision?
I'll tell you what, I bet there's more Steam OS users than there are Stadia ones.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Probably. But, the controller,
David.
I can't remember what it was called. But everyone, I think, basically after a bit, it was sort of, people tried it initially. This is really cool. This might let you play mouse and keyboard games with a controller. And my understanding is that everyone hates it now because they were selling them for about $5, and I tweeted asking if I should get one for $5, and everyone said no, not even for $5. So
right, you make a box, runs a Windows version of Steam. All right, you pay Bill his money. Just pay Bill his money.
Pay Bill. Just pay Bill.
Let people just pay your bills. That's what I've always said. And, let people plug a fucking mouse and a keyboard into it. You don't even need to plug it in, do you? Just use Bluetooth and shit. Like, who cares? Just make up one box, not 40. That was weird, that whole thing.
Really was.
But, okay. All right, so they're going to do it again, but this time with handhelds, are they?
Sean, would you be interested in this? Because you're like the one I always think of when I think of Steam games.
Oh, that's very, very kind of you, mate. Yeah. I mean, as I say, if I was, there's already, like, this already exists. I don't really know what the Valve one would have to do to, be more enticing than the ones that are currently out. I mean, obviously, if it was cheaper, that would help. And obviously it would have to run Windows. It's just going to be knackered if it doesn't. So
I thought, but Windows has been. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't need it to run. I'm not going to load up Photoshop on it or anything. But it needs to be the Windows version of Steam, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it does. It's going nowhere.
Well, apparently it's going to have a touchscreen and built-in gamepad controls and a USB-C port that will let you display it on a larger monitor. So, yeah, there you go.
Oh, no, I'm never going to be able to charge up my vape stick now. it's never going to happen now. Okay, all right, well, let's see what comes of that.
Okay, next is as I said, the Sonic cycle is beginning again.
What's this story? Go on.
It could be anything, couldn't it, David?
It really could, yeah.
Sonic what? Oh, is it the Hedgehog or it might be another one?
I think for the sake of releasing bikes.
So, there was a 30th anniversary Sonic livestream last week, and in and amongst, they had all like the merchandise tat that they were sort of like trying to sell. But there were a couple of game announcements, and one of those was Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch on the 7th of September this year. Are you all excited?
You know what? Although, yeah, the Sonic cycle, and probably going to be crap or whatever. But I hope they do knock it out of the park. How cool would it be if Sonic came back? You know what I mean? He went away after Sonic 2, arguably Sonic and Knuckles. Wouldn't it be great if there was just a good Sonic game for a change? Why not? Yeah. Why not? I mean, Sonic Mania was decent, but it's still got the same, kind of, okay. Well, while I was playing it.
Sonic Colors, I mean, this is a remake of Sonic Colors, and that, I've heard, was not bad. It was like one of the better 3D ones.
Was that a 3DS game?
No, it was on GameCube. It was GameCube, Xbox, and PS2, I think.
I watched a review today, and it is a Wii version that was reviewed.
Oh, okay, they must have re-released it on that as well then, because either way, it's been on many different things. And I mean, this is going to have 4K on PlayStation and stuff, and it's coming in the summer. But then also, preceding that, they're releasing a 2-part animated short title entitled Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisps. Which is going to tie into the game's lore.
Oh, thank fuck.
Even more exciting. Then there's more exciting news because they're re-releasing.
I just checked. Yeah, Sonic Colors just out on Wii and DS.
Really? I thought it was on GameCube.
James Farley, the newsman. Go on.
Sorry, I forgot.
You forgot to put "I think" at the end of it.
It's Matt Murray, really a super fan. I was going up against the best. It's completely forgot. But anyway, they're also re-releasing the original games again, and they're doing Sonic Origins that's going to include Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Sonic & Knuckles and Sonic CD, and that's coming later this year apparently.
Why don't you just release Sonic Jam?
Because it wasn't very good.
That would be good.
Sonic Jam was those games, but with the 3D bit.
Yeah, the 3D bit.
Yeah, but the 3D bit wasn't very good, was it? It was.
No, it wasn't. But it was only from
better than Mario.
But it was a curio. It was a
Mario 64.
I genuinely thought it was. I genuinely thought it was gonna be a Mario beta because when they showed that 3D Sonic, I was like, "Fucking hell!" And then I realised that they just switched out the 3D characters from Nights into Dreams.
Actually, the Mario beta is Croc 3D.
Good point. That's enough Sonic in it.
No, there's more. There's plenty more.
Oh, well, there's more. There is more.
The big reveal was that there's another untitled Sonic game coming to the Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox in 2022. There was like a really brief trailer at the end of like a forest and somebody running around it. I mean, presumably
somebody.
Sonic.
Who could it possibly be?
Somebody.
Who knows?
Someone wearing blue trainers. Could be anyone.
But
Who wears red trainers, Matthew?
He wears red trainers, Matt.
I don't know. Just
Where's
trainers.
Skechers, mate?
Quick.
Sega fan, Matt Murray.
I'll never look down. Never look. No need. Too quick. Yeah. So, but the rumor that's called like Sonic Rangers, right? Because there's loads of leaks in January.
He's got blue trainers. Sorry.
I can't wait for the what were they called? The fucking Sega Defense League or whatever.
The SDL.
Yeah. Can't wait for them to email in again. It's going to be good.
It wasn't it the Matt Murray Appreciation Society?
Yeah, that's
that
one.
one.
Oh, was it? Oh, no, I thought it was the Sega thing, and we were sort of getting swapped around who was in charge of it, depending on who liked Sega the most that week.
No, that was why it was weird, because at one point James Farley was head of the Matt Murray Matt Murray Appreciation Society.
Look,
come on, know your TCGS law.
Sorry, we've got to start that wiki. We've got to do it.
We have got to. Yeah,
but
no one else is going to.
Yeah, that game with the NDA, like, there's loads of like things leaked in January. It's going to be called Sonic Rangers and all the usual stuff. But I'm excited to see what that is. But you haven't mentioned another big
my
game.
dad will be in it.
Yeah, but James, you haven't mentioned a big game, which is the Tokyo 2020 game is coming out.
Oh, I've completely forgot that was even on there because it looked awful. It looked absolutely terrible. I mean, let's be honest. This whole live stream was awful. It was a terrible live stream, and you're thinking this is the
12 minutes. What's wrong with it?
It was rubbish, Matt. Come on, it was the 30th anniversary thing. It made whatever Nintendo did for Mario or even for Zelda look amazing, by comparison. It's dreadful. It was really terrible.
I wouldn't say it's
Did they have a bit where someone
fine.
came out and said, "We know you want to hear about the next big Sonic game, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a re-release of it."
Yeah, they pretty much did that with the trailer at the end. It's just like, who cares?
Well, no,
you were never going to like it, no matter how good it was, James.
Rubbish.
You're
I'd love to
on one side of things.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
I would love to Sega Sonic stuff again. I loved Sonic Mania. I thought it was brilliant, but this was embarrassing. It was not very good at all.
It was not embarrassing. It was just 12 minutes. Like, here's the Sonic stuff. We've got more announcements coming, and then
it wasn't loads of Sonic
thing.
stuff. It was all just re-releases and remakes, and just it was not interesting.
And two new game announcements.
Yeah.
No, they weren't
in 12 minutes.
Exactly, one game announcement. The other one, which isn't, we don't even know anything about. The other's a remake.
All right. Well, I didn't see it, so I can't really.
Anyway,
dig
but
you out
the
for
Tokyo 2020 game. The funny thing about that is that you can, Sonic's in it, but what it is, it's fairly realistic in terms of the graphics normally. And when you play a Sonic, you're basically playing as someone wearing a Sonic outfit.
Yeah, and it looks
It's
terrible.
Really, I think that's hilarious.
Hold on, wait, slow down. So, is this Sonic and Mario?
No. This is just a serious Tokyo 2020 game.
Mario
Oh my God.
has turned his back on the Olympics.
Yeah, well, he probably saw what this game was and we're just like, we're not doing this. It's just, look at
No,
it.
because didn't they release an Olympic game last year?
I think there was another Olympic game with them too, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but there was no.
2020.
But obviously, there were no Olympics in 2020. So
No, there wasn't, and they probably shouldn't be in 2021 either. But that's
there
fine.
may not still be some. But I just think it's funny.
I beg your pardon? What was that?
I said
not
maybe
be
there
some.
won't be one.
Oh, right, okay.
But no, I think it's funny that Sonic's in it, but it's designed as someone in a Sonic suit, and that's great. But I also thought I haven't played a Olympic game in ages. I used to love Athlete Kings and Winter Heat and stuff on the Saturn. This would be great as like a little stream, I think. Tokyo 2020. I don't know how many players are online playing it, but it looked great. It's like 17
not
sports.
enough to complete a 100-meter dash. I'll tell you that much. Okay,
No, I'm saying if it's 4-player online, we're getting it. It'll be brilliant.
Okay, you funding that out your cut?
to seek it.
Remember, some of us are still paying childcare. All right, okay, go on.
I'm paying childcare. How do you think Breakfast Club and Evening Club was paid for?
Okay, sorry, I apologise. I take that back.
Some of us are still paying for childcare. Matthew, you wouldn't understand.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so Microsoft also announced their merged Xbox and Bethesda game showcase, which is going to be happening. It's dated for June the 13th at 6 PM, like our time. Do you want to hear what Aaron Grenberg's got to say about it?
Yes, please.
Go on.
Okay. You've told us how excited you are about welcoming Bethesda into the Xbox family. So we know Yeah. So we know you're going to want a front row seat to the Xbox and Bethesda game showcase. A 90-minute show. A 90-minute show packed with everything you want to know about the epic gaming lineup coming out of this partnership. The incredible games coming to Xbox this holiday, upcoming releases on Xbox Game Pass, and more.
So this is their E3 thing?
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Right, okay. All right, well, let's see. I
mean,
this has got to be good. It's got to be good.
Yeah, this has to be very good.
Fucking hell. Yeah.
How many expecting a separate Bethesda one? I understand why they've announced that they've merged them, but I pretty much assumed this is what was happening.
Yeah. I don't think this is a surprise. Yeah.
Okay, how many games do we think they need to have for this year? For it to not be
457 total.
I was going to say 460, but 457 works.
Okay, well, you'd be really disappointed for that extra 3 I'm missing. Yeah. And for this year, I think they need 2 big hitters towards the holiday season. They need one coming out pretty sharpish at the very least, and I would say probably at least one half decent game a month. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or something every month, because Dave, right now we've had nothing.
Quick question, Matt, TCGS, just a quick question here. Where's half Matt, decent? Yes. Would you be happy with another game with FPS boost on Game Pass?
No, that
would you be happy with a 360 game in 4K?
Let me finish. What did you have in mind?
Loco Cycle came out on 360 and
no then.
What about
no then?
An old game, but now it's 4K on Xbox.
An old game, but that's for what game are you thinking?
I'm thinking. I was going to say Loco
What I'm
Cycle.
highlighting here is it's case by case, isn't it? if it's whacked, then yes, absolutely. Just release that every month.
Blinks the Time Sweeper?
We'll get that on there, baby.
Double pack, with the sequel?
No, I think they'll save that for the end of their conference, James.
That's true, yeah. That'll be just one more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah, one more thing. Oh my God, Blinks is back, you bastards.
In terms of, saying they need to show stuff that is out, pretty soon, I reckon that's all going to be smaller games that technically we knew about, but we've sort of, we saw them a year ago and have kind of forgotten them or whatever. Which doesn't mean they won't be any good. I'm sure there'll be loads of good stuff there, but it's not going to be Halo's out tomorrow. It's not.
No, it won't be that. And I'm saying all this stuff. I don't think any of it's going to happen. I've not got high hopes for Microsoft's conference.
I have. I reckon it's going to be brilliant.
Oh,
whoa! Jesus. Someone just logged in as James.
Yeah,
that's positivity radiating off him.
Or is he just teeing it up so he can absolutely slate it after the show?
Absolutely not. I reckon it's going to be very good because they've had all these studios, they've had all this time. They're definitely going to show a bunch of stuff. I mean, it may not be stuff that's actually coming out. What's the
difference from the last time they had one of these presentations? Because last time then they showed that Halo demo.
No, last time all they did was they showed that Halo demo and then said, "Look, here's some logos of all the studios we bought." I'm hoping that what we're going to get this time is actually some stuff that is coming out either by the end of this year or early next year. I think we'll get
that because it's pre-rendered, but we had that trailer for I can't remember what it was called, but it was Obsidian's new thing, and it looked a bit Elder Scrolls.
Disavowed or something?
Yeah, I would like to see some gameplay of that. I mean, everyone's really amped up for seeing more of Starfield, Bethesda's new sci-fi RPG.
Oh yeah. So Starfield will definitely be there because the image they showed for the graphic, to promote this live stream, it's got a image of a planet and it's exactly the same as the previous Starfield logo type thing. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
Do we see Fable?
I was going to say that. What do you think? I think
do we see anything from Fable?
It's been a year, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I think we might see something from Fable.
Oh, sorry, the game is avowed, not disavowed.
Okay.
That's a sequel.
Same thing.
Okay.
Okay, next story is PlayStation are taking their ball home again. What's this about?
What could this be about? The mystery.
I'm guessing from the link that he's put in the document, Borderlands 3 crossplay is on the way, but PlayStation is not included.
This whole thing doesn't work, does it? I can make up a title, then you just look at the URL, then you can see what it is. It's annoying.
Yeah, how do we get over that?
Yeah,
can you create bit.ly links for all the news stories?
So the title that you come up with works.
Yeah.
But the link that you post next to it gives it away.
No, but this also doesn't work because look, just
we can
just make bit.ly links or use tiny URL or something.
Yeah, or just make it an URL in the doc. I don't know.
Just make the process a bit more annoying.
Shit, that's a wicked idea. Did you hear Matt then? That's a great idea. Not putting the URL in the doc. That's well done, Matt.
Well,
well done.
But then how else are we supposed to read the story for James when it turns out he's...
Come on, James. Come on. Let's read this story out. Let's go.
So, cross-platform play is on the way to Borderlands 3, but it's not coming on PlayStation. And this came from Randy Pitchford, who said, the good news is an update for Borderlands 3 has been prepared for release that includes full cross-play support across all platforms. The bad news is that for certification, we have been required by the publisher to remove cross-play support for PlayStation consoles. So, yeah.
You're still thinking about the bad news, aren't you?
Yes, you certainly are. I don't care about this story at all. I'm so sorry. If anyone's got any other comments to make, then go for it. But
it's still, I mean, given that they have, relented on this in a few cases, it seems a bit petty that they're still going, but you can't do it for Borderlands 3. So, fucking come on.
Yeah, but then maybe they didn't sign up to their ridiculous document or thing that they put. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Maybe they just weren't on board with that. Maybe they weren't on Borderlands with that. Yeah, what do you think of that?
It may be that Randy Pitchford isn't being diplomatic at all, and it is literally just that it's a certification issue. Like it could just be something really fucking dry that just isn't even worth going into.
Yeah, could be.
But seems unlikely.
Okay.
And last story is that Sony are exploring the mobile market with some wonderful PlayStation franchises.
Go on. Have they dropped any franchises?
No, so this was Jim Ryan, and he was talking about PlayStation games and saying how, he says, we have been thinking about how players enjoy our content and have had some early success with experimenting with mobile games and apps to provide more choice to gamers. Mobile is just one of the areas we're exploring to reach millions of gamers beyond our platforms. PlayStation has a huge catalogue of diverse first-party IP. I don't want to read this. Is boring, isn't it? But basically...
What IPs do you reckon then? What, they're going to Last of Us? You got a microtransaction for a golf club?
That won't be part of it because that's so narrative heavy. I don't think they'll be like, is this canon?
No,
it'll be things that they can easily replicate into Temple Run knockoffs.
Just teeing up a little gag there. So what? So it'll definitely be because Crash Bandicoot isn't PlayStation, is it?
I mean, they did this already where they did Run Sackboy Run, which was like an endless runner. That already came out.
Stop trying to put Sackboy in our face constantly. Get some Astrobot on there, man. Let's do that. Astrobot mobile
that's
mission.
not what we want at all. That's not another excuse for them to say, oh, yeah, we gave you another Astrobot game. What do you want? Yeah, it's a fucking endless run on mobile. No, we want a proper 3D one.
You love mobile games. What are you talking about?
I don't. But also, Dave, don't give them another reason for them to shove Astrobot off into a corner.
You don't even know the character's name.
I love Astro. Do you care? Astro
guy.
Astro lad.
Astro boy is great. Anyway, what I'm saying is don't give him an excuse to mug him off again.
Okay. I don't think they listen. I think we'll get away with it, Matt.
Yeah, they listen. Jim Ryan listens.
Full Nels. Yeah, I don't. Right, okay. I can't do that. I can't say. Can someone sign up to the Full Nels tier, please? Because that's a commitment that some people don't want to make. But if you're thinking about it, maybe choose a famous gaming person's name for us to read out, because it'd be wicked if it was Phil Spencer, Full Nels at the start of the show. I'd love that. Yeah, I mean, who's not looking at the mobile market at the moment? It's still obviously raking it in. It's one of those things where on gaming podcast and amongst the gaming community, we're all going, mobile gaming, well, fuck that now. And then you see the financials that are being released by these companies are like, we're making billions. So The mobile gaming market is a multi-billion industry.
And of course, there's always that factor of
combined.
Like, because obviously it is potentially a gateway into, I was going to say proper games, the sort of games we play, awful nerds.
Proper games,
and obviously, and the value of that for someone like Sony is massive, because if you play an Uncharted game on your phone and then you go, oh, that was quite good. Are there any other Uncharted games? Oh, I have to buy a £500 console to play them on. Go on then. That's exactly how that'll happen.
It's the Nintendo strategy, isn't it? It's what they try to do. It's the same sort of thing.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be stupid not to, but it'd be interesting to see how good they are.
Yeah, and what franchises they pick.
See, you'd think, wouldn't you, they go for everybody's golf, but that's already happened now, isn't it? Like,
it's not theirs, though, is it?
No, it's not.
And it's only an Apple Arcade.
Claphands golf.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, okay, well, let's see where they go with that. Any more news?
No, that's it. That's all.
There's no more news, right? But did everyone watch the Far Cry 6 trailer?
No.
Nah.
Well, there's been a couple of these, wasn't it? The Far Cry 6 stuff looked good, but what worried me about that is that it also looked like everything we saw could be put into that Far Cry formula that they've been peddling out since Far Cry 3, and that worries me. I
was this is the first time in ages in Far Cry games. I'm actually like, this looks really fun and stupid, like with all the car customization.
Yeah, but they've all
weapon
been fun and stupid, you know?
I mean, the only thing we had from that this week was them first of all saying it wasn't political, and then coming back and saying it was political, but not in a political way.
It's proper political, this game. Oh, you can't move for politics in this game.
Really bad to be a bit. I thought that looked really good, and like I said, for the first time in ages, I'm like, that looks like it could be. Yeah, the last.
You've not played. You've not played the last two, have you?
I haven't really played since 3.
Right. Okay. So, 3 was amazing. 4 was a refined version of that, and then 5 was like, oh, come on now. So but everything I saw in that trailer was like, oh, that's the bit where you're in your little base that you had to, liberate to take control of. That's the bit where you fly out. I don't know. It just seemed like it could all fit perfectly into the formula that they've kept since 3, and that worries me a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean,
I think it looked good.
It looked beautiful. It looked really good.
Yeah.
And this is bad to say because there was also the Horizon Forbidden West. There was also a presentation on that, and I watched that, and people were going nuts, and I was kind of like, oh, this does look like a game. I think because the stuff they showed, obviously it was all CGI trailer when they first announced this game. But when I saw the gameplay, I was like, oh no, this is still a video game. It looks okay. I didn't think it was as stunning as...
I thought it looked
I don't know,
amazing.
man. I don't know.
Did you watch it in 4K?
Right, look. It looked amazing, right? But I expected it to look even better, if that makes sense. It's weird. It's a weird one. It did look good. I'm not saying it looked like a bad game or an average game, because it didn't. But I kind of... There was just something about it. It was like, okay, it looks good, but it also looks very familiar.
See, this is what's interesting on it, because like I think Ratchet and Clank look better than this in terms of like, how the visual,
because it was doing new things. That's it, isn't it?
Exactly, and this is coming out for PS4 as well, isn't it? So is that holding things back at all? I don't know.
No, I mean,
we'll never know. But it looks so detailed.
It looks like it. When I watched the graphically, I watched it and I thought this couldn't be done on the PS4. John pointed out to me that it was running at 30 frames. Which probably doesn't help. I mean, games need to run at 60 frames, and I'm literally going from his text messages. So if this is wrong, then I doubt it is wrong. But he was saying that it has a graphics performance mode and a frame rate performance mode or whatever. But so it'll have that. But yeah, I can't play games in 30 now. So all this shit needs to be 60. But we saw so little of what that game was, and the one thing that I did like is that it looked, and this is impossible to tell from what they showed, but it did look a little bit more streamlined than what the original one was. Because the worst thing about the original one was getting from A to B, and there was a lot of trying to force you to discover stuff, but travelling around that map was less fun than it should have been.
less keen about when I saw this was, I mean, one of the things that was amazing about Breath of the Wild was where you could just like climb up stuff and it was anything, you could kind of do that. And that was one of the things that when I went and then played Horizon, you couldn't do that. It was still like these are the handholds you can use, you can see on the cliff.
You couldn't just jump off stuff either, which of course you could in Breath of the Wild and just glide off. Yeah.
But this still had that, like in the sense of handholds and stuff, like you could see where you could climb and that kind of thing. That's not as, because that means you can't be as like dynamic in traversing the environment or in the combat. I don't think.
Yeah, it means you're always using paths that have been put there for you. Whereas, part of the joy of Breath of the Wild was like that wasn't. Yeah, obviously the world was designed, but it felt like you were just making your own way through it, didn't it?
Okay. So
New Horizons shit then,
news?
That's we'll decided.
No, it's way too.
I'm kidding. I'm sure
way too. No, I'm going to take that face value. I think that little comment.
Also, it's not massive, but they've officially now confirmed that the new Battlefield will be announced on the 9th of June because it's been rumoured for ages and there's like leaks and old internal trailers that got leaked and all sorts. But they've confirmed on the 9th we'll see the next Battlefield, which looks like it's called Battlefield.
Oh, nice. One of those. To be fair, I'd really like it if Battlefield was back. Because it's been a while, hasn't it? But,
please be good. I wonder if they'll actually drop a single-player campaign this time.
You never played? Probably, yeah. That wouldn't be a bad shout. But that's where they got all their trailer clips from that they put on the telly to convince people to buy it. Right, okay. Are we done with the news?
Yes, that's it, yeah.
It's time for what you've been playing. And James, you've got two very quick ones to discuss. So let's go with you first.
Okay, yeah, I mean, these are quick because I've talked about them like ad nauseum over the last couple of weeks, and I don't want to go into it all again because it's ridiculous. But I'm right. I finished Famicom Detective Club, The Missing Heir. It's extremely disappointing, and largely because, the navigation in it is so bad that it made me intensely dislike the game by the end of it. And the story is incredibly predictable, and you can see the final twist or whatever coming a mile off. It's just, I can't recommend it. I think it's terrible. It's really, really terrible. I mean,
That's such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, visually it looks amazing, and there's still some nice stuff with the music and stuff, but it's just not that good. I mean, I'm hoping that the second one, because it's like a double pack, which is the girl who stands behind will be better. But I'm not holding my breath because it's mostly just the navigation is just awful, it's so bad.
Did you get a physical copy or digital?
It's digital. It's digital only, I think. Yeah, exactly. It was expensive, and it was I think it was digital only. So there was no other release, which is a shame. But it's annoying because I really love those visual novels, and I was really expecting that this was going to be something that I was going to be able to play over the summer. It was going to be sort of not as good as Phoenix Wright, but at least something you can sort of get your teeth into. But you can, but in a horrible way. It tastes bad. The other thing I've been playing still is Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I'm on the final chapter of this now, because over the last couple of days I've been sort of powering through it. And see, I wouldn't say that I'm enjoying the combat now, but I can at least tolerate it. I've got to that level with it. But it's kind of like Stockholm Syndrome, because you spend so much time doing it that and sort of tinkering with it that you begin to sort of, see some of the good things in it. But the main thing that I think is a big problem with this game is the pacing. And the fact that it has an area which is like this stadium, which is there for cash and for levelling, really indicates to me that that's an admittance to me of a failure of pacing completely. The fact that you get to a point in the story and then you have to go to this stadium and you have to go through each of the different arena floors at least sort of 7 or 8 or even 10 times to level up your character for the next part of the story.
Why?
Exactly. That indicates that, okay, that means that you've really messed up, in terms of leveling the character through the rest of the game that you've already played. So it's just a shame because that killed it quite a lot for me. But I mean, I got through it. I've done that, and now I'm moving on towards the end of it. And again, story-wise, it's fantastic. It's very, very good, but it's just the combat and forcing you to have to go through this because it feels like there's a massive content gap is just a huge shame. And hopefully this is something they'll figure out for the next one, which will be turn-based. But it's a shame. But
overall, that turn-based, that boy, doesn't he?
Yeah, brilliant. And that's it.
It's not it, though. You completed It Takes Two. Matt's got that down.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Let's get your final thoughts.
It's amazing. I thought it was a fantastic game. And also, I think one of the things that Matt and I were saying, I think towards the end of it, was I think the ending was a lot more ambiguous than I'd been led to believe. Like it.
Yes, it is. We don't need to go into it, obviously, but yeah, the ending's way more ambiguous than people were sort of reporting on. Yeah. I don't think it's as clear cut as people are saying at all. But I still think that was one of the worst written kids I've ever seen in anything. I mean, just no kid acts like that. That was just shockingly bad.
Yeah, it was. That was those are bits were the most upsetting.
Yeah,
but it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't great.
And then, of course, you had. I pulled up the marquee of about how the relationship was handled in that game, but I thought the relationship that was handled, like the way that it ends or the whole end bit, just come out of nowhere. Like, I can talk about this. So all of a sudden, in the last area, you're building up towards May singing in front of a crowd, and it was like, this has not been mentioned at any point throughout this whole thing that she's like passionate about singing, and then it just gets dropped in this level, and it's like, what? Okay, all right, that's a major passion of hers. Okay, fine, that's what we're doing now. And it's like, it was stuff like that.
But you got that with Cody as well, because it was like, it turns out his passion obviously was the gardening, and they don't really talk about that much before the gardening bit. You know, it is all dropped in on each level, yeah. There's not a lot of character building, is there, before?
You could say that that's kind of more realistic. It's not like, like the way you play some games, and it's like, do you remember you love gardening? Well, yeah, why would you say that to me? Of course you know I love gardening. Like, me just sitting down like, David, you like video games, don't you? Yes, Joe, I do. That's a strange thing to say at this point in time. Why are you bringing that up? But, obviously that's not how written work goes, and it failed to even build the relationship up, really, because you didn't really know much about their relationship before it all started going sour, did you?
Not really, no.
When you think about it now that you finished it, you don't really know much about their life before the events start, and then afterwards you're like, well, why did whatever they were worried about change now? Like, it's not really. It was very much like, well,
there was no character arcs at all.
No, there wasn't.
I think it's my game of the year so far. There has been an awful lot of games, let alone incredible games like this year. But yeah, it's easily my game of the year. I loved it, but
it's
you can
up
nitpick.
There.
You can nitpick and say, like even throughout, we're like, okay, is it going to be an arc? Like, what is? I thought we'll have more sentimental moments as we went along, as they discovered why they loved each other or this, that, and the other. But it was the same pretty much throughout. Which it doesn't really distract from the game, because I thought.
And that was the thing, wasn't it? Because you didn't really get the impression of like why they loved each other or whatever. Like, I didn't get that from it at all.
No, you didn't.
It just
you
was
also didn't get the impression of why they really hated each other, or didn't. It's just I
mean, I think all you could say is that they learned to maybe talk to each other. That's about it, really. I mean, that was what they managed to achieve through it, which is fine. I mean, overall, the game is amazing. I mean, mechanically,
it really is. The gameplay, the stuff that it asks you to do, visually, blew me away constantly. I would recommend it to anyone, really. It's such a good game, and it's on my list. So
and it makes me really excited about what the next. I mean, It Takes Two. James and I liked it. Obviously, it wasn't a fantastic game, but James and I really liked it for what it was, and lots of people liked it for what it was. This takes it up, a massive notch. It's so much better than pretty much every aspect. So I'm very excited to see whatever I'm
worried about it.
Game is.
Well, you think about how batshit mental that game was, and now he's had a successful one. What is I'll just give him more money. Oh, great. What is this? What is that next game going to be?
But this is why I hope he goes back to the previous one, and does another one of tries to do another gritty one, because that could be quite funny.
Yeah,
a way out again.
Another way out.
We'll see. Was that it for It Takes Two, Matt? Or
yeah, it was really fun playing with James, and game was great. I mean, it felt like it was quite long. Obviously, we're only playing for like a couple of hours every Friday. I mean, how does it feel for you and John, Dave, who were playing it? Like,
yeah, no, it was quite long. I think there was a chunk that could have been cut out. No, not too long. Not for me. I mean, John was ploughing through to the end, but I enjoyed my time with it. It felt just about right. If anything, they could have cut a few chunks out of it, but I don't know. Yeah, that's really nitpicking.
Yeah, but great game. I'm really glad we played it.
Okay.
And if it's me now, I played a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn because I want to play that game before the sequel comes out. One thing that was strange, actually, in the state of play is that they didn't reveal the release date. No even mention of that, and then after they had to put a tweet out saying it's coming soon. We just haven't, we'll be able to announce something soon. So maybe that's an E3 thing they're saving. Mm-hmm. But as I mentioned on this show countless times, I played Horizon Zero Dawn.
They're not at E3, are they?
No, they're not.
Well, they're not, but
not officially.
Maybe there'll be something. Who knows?
Okay.
As I mentioned this show countless times, I played Horizon Zero Dawn straight after Breath of the Wild and jumped off it because I was like, what's the this is bad in comparison. But I want to play it and see what the deal is and to have more context when the sequel comes out. Now, even though I played it, when I started this game, I'm like, wow, I don't remember any of this. I don't remember a single bit of this opening bit, which is interesting. And when I then heard, it's like 40-hour, it's a 40-hour game.
Right? Yeah, it really is long. Yeah,
kind of like fucking, that's a lot. So
yeah, I didn't get to the end of it.
An hour or so into it, but I'm gonna keep playing. I'm determined.
Have you done that? Can I give you a tip with this? Yeah. Just put it on easy and then just mainline it.
I was going to say, because you smashed it in about 25-30 hours, didn't you, James?
Yeah, you could just do that. Like, you don't have to play it. Don't see it as being a challenge. That's not the point of it. Just,
I think I started the story, normal, but maybe that's a good shout.
What I don't get about this game is that the game had a little bit of love, like a little bit of love flown towards it when it came out, but it wasn't like this major release that everyone went nuts over, right? And it was mainly because it come out when Breath of the Wild.
I was going to say, it was just in Breath of the Wild shadow, wasn't it?
Yeah. When the sequel was announced, it was like, yes, yeah, and it was really?
I think it's because it sold really well. It did for PlayStation. It did very, very well for them, and so I think there's probably a lot more people played it than we'd be aware because
a lot more people played it after that initial bit where we're like, well, Breath of the Wild's out. What's the point? Over the years, and like the Frozen Wilds DLC was well received, but
I suppose at the moment everyone's still playing, Xbox versus PlayStation top trumps, aren't they? Mm-hmm. And
that helps.
It's a big flashy exclusive versus Xbox's none so far. So
service, yeah.
So Dave, you played it and finished it, right?
No, I didn't get anywhere near the end. But it's no. It's. Did you get past the trials though, where it starts to open up?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm in the trials at the moment. I think I'm in. Right, previously, I don't know how many hours I played previously. And actually, when I started playing this, I realised, hang on, maybe my old save is probably somewhere, but. I was like, no, I'm just going to start again because I remember.
No, not on PlayStation. It isn't. That goes away pretty quickly. But no, I mean, yeah, I loved what I played of it, but it just, I think I just tired out after a while.
But you, James, you liked it because you smashed through it. Is that
and I think it's definitely one of those kind of games where you have to be in the right mood for it as well, and feel that you want to play like an open world, kind of adventure. But yeah, I just put it on easy and then just smashed through it, and I really enjoyed it. I had a very good time with it. It was very fun.
Cool. Well, I think I'm going to do that. I mean, I want to get something done before Ratchet and Clank, but that's only out in like a week or two. So 2 weeks. I don't know if I'll get it done in time.
That's another one of those, isn't it? It's another one of those where everyone's going, Ratchet and Clank. And I'm sitting there going, okay. I'm a little bit surprised, but okay.
But again, it's something new to play on the systems. That's why.
Yeah,
and it looks stunning. So yeah, I'm playing that. I'm going to get through that. I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to grind through and keep playing it. But that's about it this week. I mean, it's just that, and I'm playing I'm not going to talk about The Sims 4, which I've been playing a lot of with Elodie. She's playing Animal Crossing again.
I keep wanting to get into The Sims 4. Don't know why.
Quite is it hard? Well, because I like the idea of it for sure. But is it hard to? Is it hard not to like completely ruin Elodie's enjoyment of it? Like, is she doing stuff that you're just like, no, don't do that.
No, that's not right.
No, we're having a lot of fun together. It's very funny just because of all like kind of the manic things that are happening. And she's obsessed.
Have you created your own family? Is that?
I downloaded some saves because she's obsessed with like pregnancy and babies and stuff. So I downloaded a save where the woman had like triplets, or she's about to give birth to triplets. So she enjoyed that because we had the birth and stuff. Sadly, one of the babies had to be taken away from us because we didn't look after it well enough. So that was quite sad.
That's terrible.
But the other two,
how do you deal with that?
Well, we had to quickly get rid of the crib, and it kind of wrecked the decor.
No, I mean, how do you deal with that emotionally with your daughter, Matt? What's the matter with you?
It was we mostly laughed a lot. I mean, it was a bit sad, but then
Jesus Christ!
So the baby was called Modeka. I don't quite know where names come from. So Modeka got taken away from us, and but it was just so many things happened so fast that when Modeka got taken away, we're too busy dealing with strawberries and crisp hands, the other two babies.
It really sounds like social services made the right call here, to be honest. If you can take the child away and you didn't even notice, that's the right move.
Going, oh fuck, Chris Pounds is doing something mental. Let's anyway.
Matt, why weren't you going to mention this? Sorry, this is the best bit of games coverage I've heard in a while.
So she loves The Sims 4, and but I play a bit when she comes because the UI is terrible in that game. It's well complicated. I mean, I've got my head around it, but it's not like easy to access. It's not.
Is this on console? Yeah.
But no, we're enjoying playing that together. And Elodie would enjoy doing things like.
Completely ignored you there, Sean.
Oh, so sorry. What did you say?
I assumed it was Discord. It's fine. I was just saying, are you playing on console? Yeah.
You're playing on Xbox, because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah. I really fancy the Tiny Living pack because I really, like sometimes if I've just, got nothing to do, I'll just, have you ever seen the YouTube channel Living Big in a Tiny House? I think that's what it's called. And it's just basically, it's all people who live in like, really small areas, but they've like fucking like gone to town on like fitting as much as they can into like a really small space. And I mean, once you've seen, one of them, you've seen 10 of them, but
once you've seen one bed come out of the wall.
Exactly. You've put the drawers in the stairs. Yeah. Covered that last week.
Yeah, we know, mate.
But I quite fancy the idea of because
each step is a little drawers.
That's great. Sorry. Yeah. So where's the there's no TV? Okay, right. Okay, there's no TV. But it's like it's like £8 for the Tiny Living pack, and I'm like, do you know what? Because I like the approach to the DLC.
What do you think of the social construction that we've made, where people have to live in these tiny spaces? Don't worry about that bit. Look, the PC is a laptop. Sorry, God.
I know you've done a big outdoor seating area. That's nice. What do you do when it rains? Nothing. You don't do anything when it rains. Okay, when it rains, there's nothing to do. But I like the approach to DLC with The Sims 4 because there's just fuckloads of it, but it's just totally up to you to pick and choose what you're interested in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's no order to it or anything. It's just do whatever.
So I've been tempted to try this with Rachel.
You haven't got a kitchen, but there's a microwave that's also
also an oven.
Doubles as an oven.
Right.
Yeah, you can do your pizzas in that.
Those little fucking Chicago town ones that you whack in the microwave and burn your fucking top of your mouth.
I've not had one of those for decades. They were grim, weren't they?
They were.
Except for when they weren't. Sometimes they were brilliant. Occasionally.
Yeah, I know. But as I said, you'd have third-degree burns on the top of your fucking mouth.
Tastes nice, though.
Peeling off skin for days.
Well, yeah, but you burn your mouth, it can't taste anything after that, so win-win.
Well, the worst thing was the cheeses as well. It used to sort of just be this massive lump that would then just all come off in one go.
Slide off, and then burn your chin.
Yeah. Because then underneath there'd be just like the sauce, wasn't there? That was just like piping hot.
Yeah, and then just weird soft
molten
pastry.
lava.
Yeah. And there'd be one little string of cheese that would just like wrap its way down undished by him. Right, okay. That's enough about microwaving Chicago Town pizza. That's it then, is it, Matt?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I'll do mine. We briefly played. I've met up with friends for the first time in God knows how long. And it was amazing.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, we totally did the Jackbox Party Pack thing. So this was number 7. I don't know if it's the latest one, but guess what? It had Quiplash on it, and guess what? Quiplash is still very good fun when you're along. I mean, it's so funny that if you don't know what Jackbox Party Pack is, it's a bunch of social games, mini games that you play on your mobile phone. So on the screen it comes up, says go to this website in your browser and type in this code and you are in the game. And Quiplash is a perfect example where it's basically blankety blank. It will ask you a question or give you a sentence, and you've got to fill in the blank or answer the question. And it puts you against other people in the room that are also playing. And then everyone that hasn't answered that question gets to vote on what's the funniest or what's the best answer. So, yeah, amongst the right amount of friends, it's way better than that Cards Against Humanity game that you play with your mates. So, like, there's actually a little bit of thought and imagination that goes behind it, but it's really good fun. But Quiplash also sits alongside a bunch of other mini games, which sometimes could be shit. And I would say there was only one in this pack that I thought, this is I can't play this. This is too. A, it was too confusing. B, it wasn't fun to play, and I haven't got a C, so shove it. It was this game where you played as these devils living in a house, and you had to do these tasks. And at first, I thought this is going to be like Among Us, right? They've just gone with someone's a traitor, and you've got to guess who it is. But it's not. It's more like Space Team, but less as fun. You know what I mean? Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, avoid that one. There was a beat 'em up game which was pretty funny, and I was a little bit worried because it looked like you had to control the characters, but you don't. You just create these fighters. What you do is it says create a fighter, so you draw a fighter, name it, and then it sends that fighter to someone else, and it was like create this character's nemesis. So obviously someone drew a penis, and then
Whoa. No way.
And then someone else drew I can't remember what they're called, the Wanking King or something, and it was like that was the nemesis to the penis or something. I don't look.
Surely they'd be best
mates.
mates.
Towards deep. Our 40s, yet we all still find this stuff very funny. That's the problem. And then they have like a beat 'em up fight, but then everyone gets to vote on which one's the best. And that's how the health depletes on the other one and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. They had this other one where you've got to have the right crowd for this, because I mean, even some in our crowd over the weekend were like, nah, I'm not into this one. But what it is, you've got to do a PowerPoint presentation, and you've got an assistant. And you start off by naming a PowerPoint presentation, and that name gets given to the presenter. Then the assistant can start adding slides in to their presentation. So the person giving the presentation can choose the next slide, when to move on. And the assistant is just whacking slides up, and they've got to make it a cohesive. There's a lot of... It's basically improv, you know, on a very basic level. Nice. with a lot of help. Very funny. We had a lot of fun with that, so that was pretty good. And there was a couple of others. I can't remember them. We were quite drunk. So I can't remember all of them. But I would say Jackbox Party Pack is very good if you want to just get together with your mates and have a laugh with it. We've all played them, right? We've all played these games?
Yeah,
I think so.
them, yeah.
I think we played them together, haven't we?
We did, yeah.
I think,
definitely
we
have,
did, of course.
Absolutely.
Of course we did.
But it
and all
always
of the
fascinates
jokes that we said are running through my mind at the moment. And we can't say that on that podcast. Right. Sorry, Sean.
No, that's right. It just always fascinates me that every bunch of these they release, as you say, there's at least 2 that are well good, and then the other 2 or 3, there'll be some that are like, oh, I don't really get it, and then some that are just like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, this just doesn't work at all.
This feels like it's more hit than miss, this one.
Yeah.
So,
and there's always
13
enough
quid or something.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's always enough good ones to justify price of entry, but yeah, it's weird.
Certainly is. I've been continuing with Returnal. I'm finding that quite a nice game to just boot up for one run here and there. I'm not making much progress though. I'm on Biome 3 at the moment, and that boss is absolutely smashing me. I hear a lot of people that are really disappointed with the changes and tweaks they've made to Biome 3. That they've made it extremely hard now.
What, you mean in patches or in comparison to second
in
Biome?
patches.
Oh,
in patches. Like a lot of people saying that they're deleting the game, getting the CD or the DVD or whatever it is.
The CD, ROM.
Compact disc.
Installing it onto their PlayStation, taking the Ethernet cable out, and not installing the patches. So it's just way easier to do Biome 3. I can't do that. Still be on my plate. But yeah, I've faced the boss twice now. It's still brilliant. It's so good to play. And I think spacing it out like that is fine because I'm still enjoying it. If I was playing this every night, I'd be breaking pads and shit.
I went back to play this because I was loving it, then played Resident Evil, and then I think it was last week, maybe the week before. I was like, Returnal, got that. And I go back to it. And I played 1 or 2 lives. And I was like, I just can't be bothered now.
Yeah, the whole reset thing is really harsh in it, isn't it?
Well, it's just that I'm just I guess if I put a good session, for a whole evening, maybe I'll be properly back into it. Because I was absolutely loving him before. I was like, no, I can't. I don't know if I got the energy to go back to this now. I think that gap of Resident Evil might have been enough to kill my love for it. But it's good. You're saying you're still enjoying it, playing the odd run here and there.
Is it another one though where you feel that you need to be in the mood for it though? Because I'm finding that so much these days. Not
really.
I tried some. I went back to Super Mario Sunshine today, and because I just thought I should play that because it's been obviously years since I last did. I started playing it. I thought this is awful. I don't really want. I just wasn't in the right mindset at all for playing it. I just thought I can't be bothered trying to figure out. These controls are terrible. This feels worse than Mario 64. I don't know.
Spent years defending that game and then went back to it in this All-Stars thing and I was like, okay, maybe I should have shut the fuck up and listened. Not the best Mario game, is it? Far from it. And finally, I've been just hammering Knockout City. You've got this down as well, Sean. So tell me, you played it a few rounds, was it? Or
I spent a couple of evenings on it. It's fucking brilliant.
It really is, isn't it?
The
more I play it, the more I love it.
I really thought I was done with competitive games in general. I haven't played a shooter since Overwatch. I think it was probably the last one I got into. Which depending on who you talk to, doesn't even count. So this has been a proper eye-opener for me. It's fucking great. It's just
really good fun.
Yeah, everything you said last week, it's just the way it creates situations that even early on, you can just read it and you can see what people are doing and you can the other things people are trying to do and you can see how people have caught you out. With first-person shooters, for example, even when Call of Duty brought in the kill cam, where every time you die you see how they did it, that mitigated some of the frustration. Whereas this doesn't need a kill cam; it's just always it's just so easy to read what's going on. With a bit of practice, it's not immediately, I fucking mastered this, brilliant. But there's a level of intuition that it gives you. Just through the sound design, the visuals, the interface. You mentioned the off-screen indicator. is just beautifully done. Which I couldn't describe it to you now, but I know I have caught balls that have been thrown at me from off screen, right? And it feels fucking amazing every time you do.
Yep.
It's magic. It's so much fun.
It really is, and it really deserves an audience. So, I was a bit cautious about talking about it last week because I was kind of like, this is good, but, how good is it? Whereas this week, I've played loads more, and I'm like, I have not had a dull game.
Yeah.
The game we had last night, well, I had on my own last night with a couple of randoms, was 10-9, 9-10, 10-9, and it was just like so tight, so... exciting. The exchanges you get with some people, the stuff that you're able to pull off here and there. Yeah. And then when you see the teamwork working away in the rank modes, you just go, wow, there's like another level to it. It's it deserves a decent audience, this.
It really does.
I'm still not convinced that it will get it.
Why not, though? Haven't they got a load of people playing it? Like, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, last week they said there's like 2 or 3 million. Obviously, Game Pass
2 million players, but you got to remember it's free to play at the moment, or it was for like a week. So let's see what happens after that.
Fallen off, yeah. I mean, obviously, it being on Game Pass will have helped, but yeah, because I didn't realise it was like free on everything for, as you say, a week or whatever.
Also, the tutorials are not great in that game. Like the tutorials are like, here's a level, and there's like terminals basically that you go up to and read the text, and it's kind of like I've heard so many people go, how are you curving shots? And I'm like, it's in the thing. You know what I mean? You got to do that.
Well, I don't know, because they're not brilliantly presented, as you say. You can just sort of rush through them and not take anything in. You don't, it'll sort of say, here's how you do this, but then it doesn't always test you on that, does it? You can just run off to the next thing if you want. But I really liked, I really like the fact that it's, you can do 1 or 2 tutorials and then it's like, there's more, but if you want to just play the game, that's fine. Go ahead.
But I think that's a problem as well, because the stuff that's in the more bits, it's like totally essential.
Well, yeah, because the way it worked for me was I did the first few tutorials and then I was like, right, cool, I want to play. Played a bit. And as you say, sort of saw things that I didn't understand, didn't know how people were doing them. And then clocked that, when you look at your, what are they called? They're called contracts or something, basically all the objectives that you can do to get extra currency and stuff. And basically, so doing all of the tutorials gets you, currency that I think it's the paid for currency, isn't it? So I was like, cool, all right, I'll do some more tutorials then. And then sort of dipping sort of between doing a couple tutorials, then another match, then more tutorials. It was like every tutorial I was like, right, fuck, that's how they were doing that. That's really cool. Or that's how they were able to prevent this or do this or whatever. And in that sense, I found it really engaging. But yeah, it definitely relied on me to be interested. Like if you're just
for sure
trying to smash through the tutorials, it's very easy to not take any of it in.
Yeah, and miss a lot of it.
Yeah,
because you have to physically go out your way to continue the tutorials.
Yeah.
But you know what? Mine are great. It's a great game, and you've absolutely got to try it if you haven't already. Because
and even if you don't think it's the sort of thing you would like, it's really good, really good.
One problem I read about it on Rollmuck actually this week was that this is ideal for kids, isn't it? It's a multiplayer competitive game where you're chucking a ball at each other. Mm-hmm. But EA's own licensing agreement is that you have to be 13 plus to play online games. So if you set your profile up with your correct age and you're under 13, you can't play this anyway.
Brilliant. I mean, I guess knowing what people are like online, probably for the best.
Yeah, not the worst thing, but at the same time, it just seems
let them play, but turn voice chat off. Like, there's enough. Like, if you're not playing with voice chat, there's enough ways to do little call outs and stuff, isn't there, to sort of tell people what you're trying to do. Or
throw me.
Yeah.
I heard that about a million times.
Yeah.
But good game. Really good game. Sean, what else you got for us?
Oh, I've been playing fucking Biomutant.
I really want to hear about this.
Do you know what? I knew nothing about this game, knew nothing about it, and saw people mention it. I went on YouTube, watched some gameplay footage, and was like, this looks incredible. And then all I've heard since then is how bad it is.
Well, this is it, right? This has been it's been in development since 2016. I think it was first started on it, and yeah, and it's looked cool. Like for a long time, there's been trailers, bits of artwork and stuff, and it just seemed to have a really interesting style about it. The fact that it's this game full of animals, but they're all sort of weird hybrids of animals that we actually know, and it's you could tell straight away from the artwork and stuff. This is like a post-apocalyptic world where for whatever reason like humans have fucked off and everything's run by animals, and seeing the footage as it was about to come out, and I was like, this looks very Breath of the Wild, but there's no way it's going to be like that sort of height, But as you say, like going by the look of it and then the style of it, I thought, do you know what? If this is just an entirely pleasant, 6 or 7 out of 10 time sync, and it's just a cool world to be in for a bit, I'm probably all right with that. Like that's just where I am at the moment. I'm in the mood for a sort of nothing open world game, And I didn't really need it to have like a big story or anything, but it does have one, and it's rubbish. Like it's just absolutely paper thin stuff. Like it's basically like your parents were, or the village you grew up in was trashed by a big monster ages ago, and then you ran away, and now you've come back, and you're amazing at fighting, and It's
Star
like the
Wars,
first. What, sorry?
Star Wars.
It's basically Star Wars, yeah. And you sort of so you're back in the the world that you grew up in, and everyone is fucking explaining everything to you, and you're getting these glimpses of this like beautiful world, and it's like, right, and here's how this works. Here's how you fight people. Here's the map. Here's your overall objective. It's like there's this big world tree in the middle that's dying, and then in the four corners of the world there's these monsters that are like going to eat the world tree, right? So you've got to stop them.
That's pure Zelda, that.
It is pure Zelda. But again, you're like, well, fine, because you remember how in Zelda it was like, right, well, there's your objective, off you go. Not so here. So I counted about 3 hours of fucking around with tutorials and flashbacks to my childhood, and just railroading you towards the next bit. Right, here's your next objective, go straight there, go straight, do this. Like you probably could wander off, but like nothing's like active, right, until you've done the first couple of hours of tutorials. Like the crafting, which I'll talk about that in a bit, but that becomes one of the coolest things about it. That doesn't unlock for quite a while, and like as well as like the writing not being interesting, but literally the story is like humanity fucked the environment and then pissed off into space, right? That is it. And I'm all for like scrappy games if they've got something interesting to say, but this is so like, not that I disagree that climate change is a fucking problem, but it's not an interesting discussion about that, right? It's just so black and white.
Greta.
Yeah,
what I've seen from this was a lot of people saying like the thing with all of that is that it's like it tries to be profound a lot, but isn't.
Yeah, absolutely isn't. Like they've gone for this weird thing, and again, I know it's supposed to fit with the world in that the world's now run by animals who can sort of talk, but not really. So the dialogue is full of like essentially baby talk, not using the proper names for anything. Like when you first come across a puzzle, they're like, "Oh, this looks like a brain melt," and you're like, "Right, okay." And it's all delivered through this one narrator as well, which again I can see why they thought it was a cool device, because it's basically it's this little like robot that lives on your shoulder and he's like translating everyone for you. I think the idea is that you don't speak the language anymore.
Hang on.
But it just means that every conversation. Oh, sorry.
That doesn't make sense. Your character is like an animal, right?
Yeah.
So why can't he understand his own people?
But I don't know. I think the assumption is it's because he fucked off for years and then you've come back. I don't know. It doesn't really work. Because
he had a brain melt.
Yeah, he hasn't done the. It just basically it results in these conversations where it's like every time there's a bit of dialogue with another character, Like, you hear the other characters speak, and it's really obviously just someone going like, "Biba, boba, bomba, chum, blah, blah," but like this, right? And you have to listen to that for like 2 seconds before your guy starts translating it, which is really irritating because you're just like, just tell me the fucking words. I don't like, and you sort of
speak the lingo. You're gonna come over here, learn to speak the lingo. Sean Bell, 2021.
So, and if you're like pressing A to skip through the dialogue, you've got to press it twice per line of dialogue, because you press it once and then the character just starts talking in their made-up language, and then you press it again and then your narrator kicks in and translates it, which again, just weirdly annoying.
Yeah, that sounds frustrating.
And the narrator comments constantly on stuff you're doing. There is an option to turn the frequency of this up or down, which I've set all the way to 0, and he's still doing it. And I mean, they've said they're going to patch this. Well, they said they're going to patch a lot of things. We'll get onto that in a bit. So that's really annoying. And again, it's just things like you'll be in a fight and you'll like hit someone with a sword, and he'll just go slash the flash, and you're like, what's that?
Nope.
What is that? What does that mean? Why did you just shut up? But once you are free to fuck off and do what you want, there is a weirdly enjoyable game here, right? Because the crafting is really good fun, and it's really like, so if you're building like, a melee weapon or a gun or whatever, you can basically, you find like pieces in the environment. So you might find like a saw blade and then a handle from a vacuum cleaner or whatever, and you're just like, right, click them together, whatever, and then they'll have sort of points onto which you can add other bits or whatever. And you just, just this nice sensation that you are piecing these things together and swapping bits in and out and upgrading them. And the same goes for like all the clothes that you wear. And that's really good fun. So it's enjoyable just roaming about and just finding, there's like underground bunkers or bits of like ruined cities or whatever. And you just go rummaging about, open some drawers or cupboards and like, oh, good, there's a spark plug I can stick on my helmet and give me +5 defense or whatever. And it's like, that is quite enjoyable doing that. And as I say, because the world is really beautiful. Like, I didn't realize, I'm playing this on the Series S, I didn't realize this isn't a series enhanced game. So I'm playing the basic ass Xbox version of it, and I'm still really impressed with how it looks and runs.
Sure. With the crafting, does it make a massive difference to the combat at all? Like what you're putting together?
Yes, does make it easier, but it's not a hard game anyway. I think it would only get difficult if you really weren't paying attention to the crafting. I think as long as you're taking like a slight amount of interest in upgrading your stuff, then you're going to be absolutely fine. But yeah, it's certainly not like you have got to do this or you are fucked, And yeah. So that exploring and messing with stuff is cool in and of itself. Like the combat is okay. It's this mix of there's melee combat and then it's also a shooter, and there's also like magic powers as well, or psychic powers technically, whatever. And like I'd seen a lot of the reviews saying that like the melee combat is just really sort of fuzzy, not very precise, which is true. But it was really interesting. So I started the game with like 2 daggers, right? And I didn't like the melee combat at all. Later on, I upgraded those to 2 little hand axes, which basically like the exact same combos and stuff, but a different sound effect when you hit with them. And it made a world of difference to how the combat felt, because the daggers I was using, there was like, I could hear them swishing round, but there was no sense of impact with it. Whereas when I upgraded to the axes, every time I'm hitting people, there's just like every time I'm whacking people with it. And suddenly it was like, right, I've got a much better sense of like what's going on. It was weird how much easier it was to sort of read combat situations just from that one change, which again, this is something they said they're going to patch. Because they're aware that the feedback with the melee combat isn't great. The shooting is, by design, it's very like maximum auto aim. You're very much supposed to be able to like, dash in, get a few melee hits, and then like dodge backwards, and then just hit the trigger, and you'll sort of basically, if you shoot your guns like during or immediately after a dodge, you'll do like a cool flip, sort of, Max Payne style or whatever. And that's so like the way that those work together is pretty enjoyable. I haven't really gotten too involved with the psychic powers, although I can like vomit acid on the floor and burn people. That's quite cool. Oh, whenever you get to a fast travel point, you piss on it. I quite like that.
Okay.
I thought that was good. Thought that was funny. That's where I am.
There's a point there for you, an extra little point Biomutant.
Yeah.
Do you get to select what animal you are at the start?
Oh god, yeah. The customization is really good. There's like
that's cool.
There's sort of different breeds to choose from with sort of different specialities, and then within that, you then get to play around with their stats, which in turn affects their appearance. And
what did you go with?
So I just went with a fast melee guy.
But what animal?
What animal?
Oh no, so they're not real animals. They're just weird hybrids.
Right,
so you couldn't really. Yeah, you couldn't really pinpoint what animal it is, but yeah, it's just like this. Yeah, so this massive world that's like quite fun to just explore for no particular reason. But obviously, I'm aware that there's going to come a point where I'm like, well, right, why am I doing this? And then I've got to go back to the story, which I don't like. So I see why the story is there. It's just that it's not particularly good, and the bit that I'm enjoying is just going to sort of fizzle out eventually,
Fair enough.
And it's like, and the world is absolutely massive, and it just doesn't need to be. Like, so many of the reviews are like, it's not amazing, but it was made by a team of 20 people. It's like this huge like open world game, but only 20 people made it, and that's kind of incredible. And it is, but also, is that not just a really bad decision? Like, if you know you've only got 20 people to work on a game, why set out to make a big AAA?
Why do we need to care about that? It was only made. But you hear that all the time. It was only made by one person. Okay, fine, but that doesn't make the game any better.
Yeah, doesn't make it any less weird that there's a £400 collector's edition of this game. Do you know,
wow.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm sorry, what?
What do you get? What do you get?
I don't know. I haven't.
Do you get an actual animal with that?
You would expect an actual live animal, wouldn't you?
I expect
it's
two.
like, it's like if I stepped out the front door and went, fuck it, I'm going to run a marathon right now with no prior training. And then when I'm being sick at the end of the road, I don't expect people to come along and say, well, fair play, mate, you tried to run a marathon. That's amazing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Here we go. So the Biomutant Atomic Edition for PS4. Yeah. What do you get? Well, where are the list?
What's in it? What's in the box? Has it got the soundtrack on vinyl? Because the soundtrack's lovely as well. I should have mentioned that. The soundtrack's really nice.
Description, condition, contact us. No, this is on eBay, so everything you need to know about Biomutant, features of the video game. There's nothing. They haven't copied what you get in that box.
Cool.
But this game. Hold on.
I know. I've got it here. Right. You get a high detail diorama.
Cool.
Of I think what is that? It's the animal you're as fighting a big orc thing. So that's that.
Yeah, it's like
a steelbook case, an A1 artwork on fabric, an oversized mouse pad, a T-shirt, and the official soundtrack.
How big is the oversized mouse pad?
How oversized are we talking?
I imagine it's one of those standard kind of long. Well, the one I've got one right now, but the huge one that kind of covers mouse, keyboard, everything, all over.
It sounds like this was created by that character in I Think You Should Leave with the car, straight in the car. A mouse pad, which is too big. It's just too big.
So it's 31 inches by 14 inches.
What? Why?
You've got to move that mouse.
That's how big those huge mouse pads are.
I think is that a thing? Jesus.
Yes, it's a regular sized mouse mat, if anything, now. These days.
I haven't used a mouse mat in decades, mate.
Oh, good for you.
I was going to say, that sounded like a boast, didn't it?
Yeah, it did a little bit.
How tough I am. I don't even need a fucking mouse mat. So, I mean, I know a couple of people, because I posted some screenshots of it, and a few people are like, oh, is it any good? I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to give a definitive answer to that question. There are bits I love about it. There are bits I hate about it. and it just feels like it is a victim of just having way too big scope.
Jury's out.
Yeah, shame.
Okay,
but I mean,
can we drop?
Go on, sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, so they've said, like, the day after it came out, there's going to be a patch, we're going to fix this, that, and the other. We've had loads of feedback from the community, and I'm just a bit, at the moment, fed up with games coming out and needing patching immediately. So, last week I talked about Hood's Outlaws and Legends. Apparently that's getting a massive patch to fix all the things I talked about.
That's a live competitive multiplayer game, right? So you and then get that.
Today, I'm not going to go into it, but I started playing, so it just came out today, Necromunda Hired Gun, which I was really looking forward to, and the Xbox version is fucked, absolutely fucked. I thought maybe it was just a Series S thing, but I've since looked at the reviews on the Xbox store, and everyone's just going fucking mental. I'm just like, just a bit done with not quite finished games at the moment.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Can I drop a little bit of honesty in this podcast? Drop a truth bomb.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Right. Here we go.
Cool.
So I am absolutely shattered. And I want to hear about this last game, The World at Heart, because this has just come to Game Pass, so it's possible that I might be playing this in the near future. But at the same time, I know that there are questions after this, and I will fall asleep. So, do you mind if I grab a coffee while you talk about this game, and I'll be right back?
Honestly, I wasn't going to go into it in much detail because I talked about it last week.
Well, that's not good for me, is it? I can't grab a coffee while you just go, yeah, it's all right. Okay, questions.
You grab a coffee, is that not you up for hours and hours and hours? And
yeah, surely that's a bad move.
That's worse, isn't it?
The effects of that last for about 5 minutes with me. Okay, I'll plough through. Go on.
I'll just be very brief. Basically, I'm still playing, been chipping away at The Wild at Heart, and I wish the time I'd put into Biomutant I had instead put into this, because it's way better, and I'm still loving it, and it's now, I've got a second character, which again, similar to Pikmin, so you're sort of switching between two people who can control the little guys that you throw around, and it's fucking lovely. I absolutely adore it. You should definitely check it out, man.
Yeah, I should do, really. I've heard good things about it. It looks great. So
it's well good.
Okay. All right.
I think you should still get a coffee, Dave, if you're desperate for a coffee.
No, it's fine, because then you have to edit it, and this is going out tomorrow. So I'm saving you, if anything.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get on to questions.
If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. George Foreman Grill. I hope that's the same person who did it last time and they haven't just stolen the name. It says, hi all,
definitely.
Love the podcast and appreciate you all for all the work you put in. I ran out of podcast this week, so I decided to delve into the TCGS back catalogue and listen to the episode where you discussed the Switch reveal trailer. Everyone was really positive about the new concept, apart from James, who decided that actually it's no better than the Wii U because people aren't going to want to take the console away from their living room, so it doesn't actually do anything that the Wii U can't already do. With that in mind, what is the worst gaming hot take that you guys have ever made, and when did you realise that you had massively cocked it up?
I mean, that was funny because I remember that.
It was
James
bad,
being really down on the Switch.
That was because I'd been really badly burned by the Wii U, and I was just thinking this is going to be another disaster, and it's just I'm not up for another Nintendo disaster, and I'm really pleased that I was completely wrong about that because it's been amazing.
Yeah, see, because I think in recently, the most memorable sort of prediction that just went horribly wrong was that I genuinely thought this launch was going to be absolutely shocking. Of the new consoles, I'm talking about the PS5 and the Series X and S. Like, I thought it was going to be a massive failure. And, well, it hasn't been, has it? They've been sending a lot of consoles.
Yeah, they've basically been selling out as they're making them, aren't they?
Yeah, and a stock seems to have come in a lot in the last couple of weeks. Like, I see a lot of people saying,
and they're
grab
selling
a PS5,
out still.
grab an Xbox.
You can't just go onto Amazon and buy a PS5 still.
Which is nuts.
So yeah, demand is way higher than I thought it would be, and it seems like those consoles are doing really well.
Anyone else? I mean, obviously,
Sean, you must have countless.
I mean, every year I say there's going to be a new Armored Core. I mean, I've stopped doing it the last few years now because it's just getting embarrassing at this point. Beyond that, I can't remember. Can't think of any.
Yeah, I mean, like, hot takes. I mean, I'm genuinely like, I'm quite interested in that. We'll see what it looks like. Covers all bases. I'm never going in with like a mad reaction unless it's something I'm really looking forward to. But generally, that's quite safe anyway.
Sitting on the fence is never a good thing to do on a podcast, boys. Come on.
I don't know. I'm starting to see the attraction, to be honest. I've been burned so many times with stuff that I'm starting to think. I mean, the only one I can think of with Matt was the pricing of the next generation consoles. I mean, that was.
Yeah, he was way off for that.
Yeah.
What? Let's not get into this.
Do you know what's really funny? Everyone remembers the bet, but doesn't remember the forfeit. I bet none of you remember what the forfeit, what the video was that he made. I don't.
That was a good video, that was.
So who was the real loser in this
Me.
bet? Matt.
Me. Absolutely me. She mugged me all off.
Yep. Well,
I remember
we didn't.
What? Sorry. You just said yep? You just said yep.
I think we ought to retweet that, I think, at some point. It might be a good
idea. Get it back. Let's get it going.
Let's do that, definitely.
It wasn't really a hot take, but it was about 6 months ago I tweeted, I was like, I just need a release date for Spiritfarer and Hollow Knight Silk Song, and then I'll be all right. And then Spiritfarer came out like 2 days later, and I didn't really like it, and we still don't have a release date for Silk Song. So that was pretty bad. Right, Will Marley says, evening gents, on a school French exchange, the host mum, sounds weird, the host mum, something out of Alien. The host mum gave me a packed lunch one day for a trip to some museum. When I opened the bag, there was half a baguette sliced down the middle with 2 chocolate bars contained within the fold.
Wow.
What's the shittest meal you've ever been served? That sounds all right.
Yeah, stop.
That's not bad.
Chocolate sandwich. Shittest meal I've ever been served. Fuck.
Joe's cooking's not great. I remember when she tried to cook her curry once and it tasted like chicken with brown sauce squirted over the top of it. Yeah, it was not good.
Nice.
What I like about that is that's kind of like a homemade pan au chocolat, isn't it? They're like, bread, chocolate, Twix, done.
I'm sorry, that sounds amazing.
Bong that in your mini microwave.
Yeah, I might do that tomorrow.
What are the chocolate bars? You know, they like Mars bars. You know, what are they? I mean,
I think it's Twix. Less Snickers.
Yeah,
I was going to say, what do they have the same ones in France, do they? They have the same ones?
Les toffee crisp.
Matt, stop that. That's we're going into offensive territory there.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, I suppose, like, basically, because my parents can't really cook, so pretty much anything I was served as a child. Basically, got to the age of about 20, just thinking I didn't really like food.
Did you ever get served up ham, egg, and chips?
No,
yes.
But my dad
regular
used to...
in my house, and I meet people that go, "Oh yeah, ham, egg, and chips, great." It's never a good meal. It's like just bland and rank. And whenever I said, "What we got for dinner, Mum?" Ham, egg, and chips. Oh, fuck.
I'll tell you, we had a lot of casseroles, and I hate casserole. I can't stand it. Basically, just like, you know, you get a pot, put some hot water in it, and just boil everything up and put it on a plate. It's vile. It's awful.
We used to have like just these awful, like, were they lamb or pork chops that were just like fucking plastic. My dad used to, like, he'd make us pasta and just put like tomato puree in it and call that a pasta sauce. They used to make grossel, which is a German peasant dish, which is just like boiled potatoes with just some bits of bacon and fried onion mixed in.
How do you look at a German peasant dish and go, "I'm going to cook that for the family"?
Yeah, I love it.
I think you were being a bit harsh. I think your parents are probably trying and struggling, and are like, "Yes, fuck it, let's get the grozzle. Let's get the grozzle out.
Let's get the grozzle
whatever
out,
it takes." You know, well, we're all parents now. We know some days aren't easy. I might put grozzle out tomorrow.
Watching Oliver Twist, going, gruel. That seems. I mean,
interesting.
He liked it so much. He wanted more, didn't he? So
exactly.
let's get that on the kitchen table.
Like, people think I'm joking when I say that Isaac's diet is more varied now than mine was when I was 20, but it's true.
No, I fully believe that.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, it's mad how different it is.
Yeah.
I didn't know what kale was when I was younger, or even when I was older. And Els had all sorts of crazy food, considering what mine was quite a standard diet when I was younger. But now Elle's out eating all sorts of stuff.
Okay, next question.
Now that I finished kicking the shit out of my mum and dad, Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Cornettos, with James revealing his mastermind subject to be Granny's Garden on last week's episode, what will the rest of you choose as your gaming subject? I imagine a TCGS co-version of the programme would have James stand in for John Humphreys, while Sean's dog could play the dramatic drum cue with its tail. Keep up the all bangers, no clangers streak.
We could do this, as a thing. Mastermind, that'd be brilliant.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
What, but that could be the next episode of In the Cuisining.
Yeah.
We just do it mastermind style.
I wouldn't mind preparing that, like in terms of the
you
questions
couldn't
and
prepare
stuff.
Fucking headlines for your news story. There's no way you're preparing something like that, is there?
Yeah, you won't be able to run the stream either.
I'll take offence at that. I really do.
Why?
Yeah. What do you mean, why? I'm very good at devising questions and stuff. I do it for my job and everything all the time.
That's true.
Yeah, no, but you're supposed to be good at doing the news. You've been doing that for years and still not nailed it. Oh, yeah, next week, guys, I'll do my own headlines. We'll all guess them. Have you done it? No. Come on, James. Fully justified. Yeah?
Thanks. I won't bother in future then. That's fine.
That's how he gets out of it. That's how he gets out of it.
Oh, you're just being
I was
an
going to
arse.
do the washing
it's
up.
like,
I'm not going to bother now.
If ever I've offered to do anything, you're just like, oh, don't bother. You'll be rubbish at it. It's like, why would I bother asking in the future? What's the point?
Why do I say that?
To make me feel bad?
No, because look at what happened this week. You offered to do something. We all thought it was a great idea, and then you just didn't do it.
I did part of it. Not the whole thing, but I did do part of it.
You didn't do part of it, James. It didn't count. You forgot. Just admit it.
I did part of it.
Forgot.
Okay. But I also think it would be a great idea, yeah.
It would be good.
I don't know how we'll do that, given James can't run the stream. But
gaming. Gaming. What's the best gaming subject then? Mine's probably Rocket League, right? I could just take you through all of that stuff.
Matt's
Tactics
is
and that.
Sega from the years 1985
Sega
to
Rally.
1995, I think.
Yeah, from 1985 to 1985, just later in that year was when his fandom really sort of
peaked,
contained.
Yeah.
What a day.
I don't know what mine would be. Just the life and times of Jonathan Blow, I think.
I'd watch that. No, I wouldn't. Why am I talking? I wouldn't watch that at all.
I'll start the answer to every question of... when we had a brief electronic mail correspondence back in 2003. And then James can talk about how he's blocked by him on Twitter.
Yep.
George Rinseplates says, have you ever fallen asleep in the cinema?
Yes. No.
Have you?
Go on, James. I've done. When come on, some of those kids' films that you go and see, dreadful. And just, I fell asleep during Trolls because it was awful.
Oh, yeah, that is bad.
Yeah.
Which one? The World Tour or the first one?
No, I can't remember actually. It's
you were asleep, weren't you?
It was that good, yeah.
I've never fallen asleep at cinema. Even films I probably should have fallen asleep to, but no, I've never done it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I bloody love cinema too much.
I've never fallen asleep.
But how can I fall asleep? I've had probably 2 litres of Coca-Cola, and a massive pot of a mixed popcorn. So no chance of me sleeping after that.
No.
I'm usually spending 90% of my time trying not to piss. So yeah, that keeps me awake. In a cinema.
Keeps you alert.
Oh God, there's another story arc here that we know needs to be wrapped up by the end of the film, and it's only 15 minutes in.
I do remember I took Isaac to see one of those fucking Paw Patrol ones. It's not a film, it's like 40 minutes long, but obviously that's about all he can handle. In fact, I don't even think he made it to the end of that. But but I was absolutely knackered, and I was just like, I wish I could just trust him to stay still and not fucking run off, and I could shut my eyes for a bit.
Yeah, that's a killer. It's not a great age for that.
Yeah, I've done that before. Where we had to leave during the 40-minute show.
I'd like to point out that when I did fall asleep, Chen was there as well. It wasn't just me falling asleep in the cinema with my kids.
What if you both fell asleep?
No, she doesn't do that.
What if you fell asleep, James, and this is a dream?
Oh my God.
Think about
that.
It
feels like a dream. Honestly, I think I'm going to collapse in exhaustion in a minute.
Okay. one last one, and it's for Matt. It's from Emma Bunton. She says 2 shows in a row. Matt has brought up blading. What's that?
Emma Bunton, yeah.
Emma Bunton.
Emma Bunton's parents live right near my parents. I mean,
that makes sense because she says 2 shows in a row. Matt has brought up blading. Made me wonder what Matt's favourite Bognor Regis skating spots were: the bandstand, Marine Park Gardens benches, 39 Club halfpipe, or did Matt ever track over and brave the South Sea Skate Park's vert ramp? And she signs off with cheers and girl power. Cheers, Emma.
But I'm more and more convinced that this is actually Emma Bunton.
Yeah, I mean, I am now. Yeah, I mean, Emma's named all the hot spots. Yeah, I mean, bandstand definitely, Marine Park Gardens. Yeah, I mean, all of these. Yeah, 39 Club. I think I only went there once because I wasn't cool enough. But South Sea Skate Park vert ramp. I think I might have gone there, but again, never had the balls to actually go on it. Yeah, but there's also at one point there's like a skate. I think at Abbotsford Park there's like a skate ramp there. That was quite late, actually. I was probably a bit too old to go at that point. Yeah, Emma, thanks for the correspondence. You clearly know your Bognor blading areas.
And your music. Thanks for all that.
One of the all-timers. That's great.
I need some love like I never needed love before. Want to make love to your baby.
It's a classic. I've not looked. I mean, I've been watching blading videos because they're part of my Instagram feed, but I've not looked into the skates. I don't think it's going to happen now.
Shame.
What? Thanks, James. I think you ruined that for me. All right, you ruined that.
I was very supportive. I want you to do it. I think it'd be brilliant.
No, there wasn't. There was only like a 20% chance of me actually doing it, and I should probably stop buying rubbish.
Fair enough.
Shame. Oh, shame.
Cool.
That's it.
Is that it?
That's it.
Matt?
Yes.
I mean, we're in... we've just... I'm looking at the time on the recording and we've just tipped over the Dash Radio limit.
Not again.
So
this is going to be a very short show, isn't it?
Radio station again. It's not been a very short show. It's been a long one. It's just the previous ones have been insane. So, go on.
Yeah, so this Friday, James and I have now finished It Takes Two. So this Friday is the minigame special. We have unlocked all but one minigame, which James and I are going to do before Friday. But this Friday, we're going to do just minigames. And we're probably going to do best of 5. And then the loser has to drink an alcoholic beverage because we're mental. Yeah, that's Friday night from 9. I'm very much looking forward to it. James, you better just be better. Otherwise, you're going to be dead by 9:30.
That's right. I'm getting the facts in as well. I've got.
You're getting the facts straight.
Nice. See if I can go and get. Well, you've already got the facts as well.
I've got one fax. I don't. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's dangerous, but yeah. So that's mini games. James and I. It Takes Two. Loser drinks. It's gonna be. I don't know what our stream's gonna be, but it's gonna be something. That's Friday night from 9. And if you have, I think that's it for streams, isn't it? No one else streaming. No.
Nah, I've done a few daytime bits. It's been quite nice, but not committing to anything.
Cool. That's it for our live streams. But if you're Amazon Prime, you're Twitch Prime Gaming, and with that, you get one free subscription every single month that we'd massively appreciate if you went over to our channel and gave us your free monthly sub. If you miss the streams live, you can search for TCGS on YouTube and you can find all the VODs of the older ones. We want patrons, as Dave mentioned at the beginning, patreon.com/TCGS, loads of different tiers. We'll be doing our bonus podcast in the next week or two, and whatever our video is as well for the month. And tcgs.co is the website where there's links to our social channels and our store for merch.
Oi, E3 next week. Our coverage for E3 starts next week.
Yes, predictions next week.
It's happening. Cannot wait.
God.
I've got leave the internet.
Predictions.
How long do you have to leave for? Is it just like is it like the weekend basically, or is it a bit longer than that?
It's the weekend.
Okay, cool. Not too bad then.
Although England are playing that weekend.
Yep. On Sunday.
You don't watch it on telly? Sorry, not on telly. I can't remember the rules.
Yeah, you can watch it on the telly.
Yeah.
You can watch it on the telly, boy. Don't worry about that.
Still find them.
Thank you so much for living it. We will catch you on next week's show. E3 predictions. Say goodbye, everyone.
Before I say goodbye, can I just say, when Dave mentioned seeing his friends and I sang a bit of the Friends theme, I don't know where that came from, and it wasn't funny, and I don't know why I did it.
I mean, Sean,
it was great.
Sean,
it was funny.
It was funny. I had to mute because I started laughing.
Yeah, I laughed. I thought it was good.
I did it. I was just like, why have I done? Okay, fine.
It's funny how people. Do you know what I mean? I've been playing on your mind this whole time.
Yeah,
why did I
do that? It was also because it just sounded so weird as well. Like the way you did it, and it really tickled me. I was great.
Yeah, that was part of the appeal.
I like the fact that we've all ended with each other saying how great we were. Right, okay, goodbye. We'll catch you next week.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Goodbye.